And we're after showing.
Yes, sirree. All right. This is actually our second take. And I just said the same thing again. This is
Take
fun.
two.
We're happy. We're happy you're all here.
Oh, we have a good
You're all
time.
here for this. Yes. We have a lot of fun. And we hope you enjoyed that episode.
Yes. Wink,
Right?
wink, nod, nod.
Yeah. Exactly.
Finger guns.
So I'm a little on edge today.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I should say I'm feeling better now, but last night I was a little out of sorts. I was driving not too late, probably around 10:30 or so. So actually around the time that we're recording this.
Yes.
And it was dark out, but also where I am right now, it's pretty it's that time of night. There's not much. I mean, there's not much going on that time of night, really, many places right now, but especially around here, it's woodsy, and it's pretty desolate. That's what I was looking for. Desolate.
Okay.
So I decided to drive up this because I always go up this road that's it kind of goes over a mountain, but it's a shortcut, and I like taking it. It's the scenic route.
All right.
But at night, there's no street lights, and it's pretty spooky. Especially, now I'm thinking too. It's October this time of year. It's like a little spooky-ish, like horror movie kind of
Right.
stuff. But anyway, I'm going about 30, like because it's late, and I don't have my brights on because I should have, because there weren't any other cars coming, so that like I should have had them on just to be safe. But there's been a lot of deer in the area,
Okay.
and you see them all the time. I mean, have for years, but especially now because there aren't as many people on the road, they've definitely been out and about more. I've noticed that a lot this year. And I kind of, in the back of my head, I am always on the lookout because I always know that I'm always thinking in the back of my head, like they could run out, and you see them all the time. You see them on the side. But because like I didn't have my brights on, so my reaction time was not as quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I see this one. So it's in the middle of the road, and if you can visualize this, it's on it's not even in the middle of the road. It's like in the middle of my lane, so it's like right smack where I need to be.
Oh gosh.
So like if I'm gonna swerve out of the way of this thing, like I don't even think I could, honestly, because it's such a narrow two-way thing.
Yeah.
That like there's no, like, I would be, if I swerved, I would probably, even though I'm only going 30, I'm gonna go into something, into like the woods, and it's not gonna be pretty. And the other way is the same thing. And also you don't know which way the deer's gonna run.
Yeah.
So but the thing is, it's not facing me, it's like facing to the side. So it's at
It wasn't even looking at you?
no, it's like perpendicular. Is that
Okay.
the right word? Yeah, perpendicular.
So
Or
you're going
adjacent. Or is that
wait,
adjacent?
So if you're going in this direction, was it also sending that direction, or was it sending like this?
That one.
This one, okay. Like a T.
Yeah. It's a T. Yes. So it's on its side. So once I see it, I slam on my brakes because I look behind. There's no one behind me, thankfully.
Thankfully.
There's no one around because it's weird time to be driving. And so I slam on my brakes, but I'm also like kind of prepared because like I have to come to a full stop. Granted, like 30 is not in, but 30 is still pretty fast to come to like a full, especially when there's not that much time. There's not not that much space. So I come to a full stop, and I'm telling you honestly, I'm within inches of this deer because I'm prepared. I'm prepared for this thing to like be hurt in some way.
Yeah.
Injured. Like I'm not expecting it to go flying, but I'm expecting like to like bruise this deer.
Right.
But I come within inches, and I stop completely, and the deer still isn't moving.
Oh
It's
my
like
God.
still there, and then finally, like it takes it like a few seconds. I'm almost like about to get on, be like, "Hey, do you mind?" Like,
Excuse me,
and
sir.
yeah, the deer like finally gives like glances at me and like it like finally realizes it's like, oh shit, and just like runs off, gallops away. But it takes the deer like a few seconds at least
Oh
to
my
like realize
God.
what's happening. And then of course I replay this to my parents and they're like, well, that's where the expression deer in the headlights comes from. I'm like, okay, but
Oh
that's
my
like not,
God.
but the deer wasn't actually looking at me.
Right.
It was not, so it wasn't really a deer in the headlights. It was, I don't know, it was an idiot deer. It just wasn't
Idiot deer
looking at any.
just chilling out for a midnight stroll.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, but
crazy.
yeah, well it was scary because I if this had been, if there had been a car behind me or something, like this could have been a really messy situation.
Yeah.
Um and I almost like, I'm just, I don't know. It was pretty freaky, and I, of course, I don't want to hurt the thing,
Sure.
but yeah, I don't know, but after that I was like, "Oh my god, that was so close."
Yeah.
So close, and it
Oh
all
my
happens
God.
so quickly. These, it happens like just within just a few seconds.
Yeah.
And I know like almost everyone I know has like hit a deer at some point, at least around here, because they're all over the place.
Sure.
So yeah, I
That's
don't know.
totally wild.
Yeah, it was very freaky. And I just got me thinking, like, I don't know what do you do, in that situation? It's so tough. And I think it's a good like, you shouldn't go. I think it's a good thing, like, if that I was going how as fast as I was going,
Hmm.
that I wasn't speeding, or that, I mean, if I was going slower, obviously it would have been better. If I had my brights on, it would have been better. But even so, like, going at the speed. But then again, you can only do what you can do, because then there could have been someone like tailing me.
Right.
If
And then
someone's like
they,
tailing you, and it's just not worth it. I'm It's like a wake up call. Not that I'm speeding, but I think when like if someone's like tailing you, honking at you, like, fuck them. Who cares?
yeah.
You know what? Do what, like, is what you think is the right thing to do. What, like,
Hmm.
what the safe thing is to do.
Definitely.
'Cause it's just not. It's not worth it.
Yeah. I've definitely had a few close calls. I
Mhm.
didn't have a situation as similar to what you had.
Yeah.
But I've definitely had those like awakening moments where I'm just like, I am going to be a safer driver from now on.
Yeah.
One of them did involve a deer. I was driving home from Oneonta, which plenty of deer up there.
Yes. Yes.
Those deers, like those are like the perfect deers when you need to like describe like deers that do not give any f's about being around humans. Because
Yeah.
like yeah, they would be walking around campus and you'd be walking around campus and you'd just be like, oh hey, what's up? Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I remember I was walking home from the radio station. It was when I had my 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. slot, and I'm walking back to the dorms, and I just like see deer just all over the place. You just see like the eyes just peering out there, and you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna get home. But
Yeah.
I'm driving home from Oneonta, and I'm looking. I was driving Kevin, uh, and we're looking ahead of us, and it looks like a cloud of feathers, essentially,
Hmm.
just brown feathers in this like big cloud. And we realized after that it was the deer fur that was just being like
Hmm.
everywhere, but it was all over the place. And there was a minivan in front of us, and all of a sudden, out from underneath the minivan pops the body of a deer. And in the last second, I was just like, "Oh shit!" So I swerved to try
Hmm.
to get not hit it, and
Yeah.
luckily there was nobody. There were other cars around, but luckily there was no car like right next to me. Otherwise, like my
Yeah.
idiot brain would have just like driven right into another car. But I did. I was not successful in not hitting the deer. My right
Mm.
side of the deer, if it wasn't dead, we finished it off, and the right
Right.
side of my car went right over it. So that was intense. And the craziest thing, so we ended up going past the people in the minivan, and it looked like the people in the minivan were laughing, which was the craziest part. I don't know, maybe they were laughing because they were just in shock, or maybe they were just like sociopaths. I don't know. But that
It
was
could go either
freaky.
way, honestly.
Yeah. And then the second time that I had the moment where I'm like, I need to slow down, I was driving, I think, up to school at that point, and it was in the middle of the winter, and I really underestimated the icy roads. And I was behind an 18 wheeler, and I was like, this guy, I need to get in front of him. So everybody's in the right lane. I realize now on purpose because everybody was like, let's just remain in this one lane that we know isn't icy, or at least let's all just remain in the same lane. I guess it maybe it would reduce the amount of ice because of multiple cars on that that path. But I was
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm just going to go around him. It's a 2 lane, so I guess a 4 lane highway. You know, 2 lanes on going in the one direction, 2 lanes going in the other direction. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go around this truck, and I go start to get into the left lane. I start speeding up. I'm past the 18 wheeler, and then my car just starts skidding on the ice, and I start turning right into the lane of the that the 18 wheeler's going. And I swear to you, like I had a moment where I was just like, well, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, this is it. I
This
know
is it.
exactly that feeling.
I honestly thought I was about to die in that moment. Somehow my car did not hit. The 18 wheeler went right past me. I pulled over to the side of the road. The 18 wheeler pulled over to the side of the road because, like, I'm sure they've dealt with like idiots like me before. And I've just
Mhm.
sat there like for like a
Yeah.
good 5 minutes. And then eventually I got to the closest town. I got to Roscoe, New York. I pulled over, went to the Roscoe Diner, and I was planning on just like getting a cup of coffee or something like that just to like calm my nerves. Ended up texting my mom just because you would know with a Jewish mother
Mhm.
if I don't get to Oneonta with in an exact time, something must be
Yeah.
wrong. So I just called to let her know I was stopping at the diner. Didn't tell her why or what happened. So she's just like, all right, enjoy lunch. So I'm just like, okay. But that moment there, almost thinking I was about to die, um, it made me a safer driver after.
Yeah. No, it has an effect on you, but it's so weird those like moments where like one slight move, one like little thing is what saved you. Those things like just like they weird me out.
Yeah,
I'm like, why did that happen? I don't know. It's very bizarre. Um,
totally.
I mean, in the instance of this deer, it was a different kind of thing because I think what the worst that would have happened would be that like I mean, I think I would have been okay. The worst thing that would have happened would be like obviously the deer dies,
Hmm.
deer gets hit and dies, and like my airbags deploy and I get injured, my car's fucked up. But
Right.
I know like I would be okay from it.
Hmm.
But that's a lot. That's a
Yeah,
lot I avoided. I avoided
definitely.
within inches of avoiding something happening. So,
Yeah.
and you'd think I'd be like grateful for that, but like I'm like gonna forget about it tomorrow
Oh, sure.
and be like, oh yeah, so we're still in lockdown bullshit.
Yeah.
Fuck COVID. Like I'm gonna completely not feel grateful for that at all.
Yeah. I wonder what people, so like being in New York, I think like we really only have deer in that
Yeah,
sense. Like maybe there's black bears, I think, in New York, but
there are.
that's like upstate. Um, I wonder what people have to deal with like that have moose in their like state. Cause
Yeah,
like
well those
I've
they
seen
won't move.
pictures, yeah, and I've seen pictures of moose. Like
Yeah.
they're fucking enormous.
Yeah, well they'll just like pick up your car and throw you off the road. They're like intense. They're crazy.
Yeah,
I've never seen one, but I heard they're cool looking. I mean,
Yeah,
and
I've
they've got
never
a
seen
great
one in
name. A
person.
moose is such a funny name for an animal. You know, like why did we come up with moose for that thing?
I always love like thinking about those type of animals that
Mhm.
like what when you initially think of like dangerous type animals, I don't know if
Yeah.
moose is the first thing that pops up in your head,
No,
but like
it's like goofy.
right, but like moose hippos. Like I also don't think of
Yeah.
like hippos initially when I think of a dangerous animal, but like I think if I know hippos are definitely territorial. I don't know if moose are necessarily territorial, but like this just the overall size of them,
Yeah.
it's like these things are very deadly animals.
I honestly think it has to do with the name and also the fact that they have like big horns that
Yeah,
like you just don't take it seriously. I don't know why that is, but I think we just think it's like silly, it has a silly name and it's like
right.
funny looking. Whereas
Hmm.
like other like a bear just sound it's like it's a bear, it's
Yeah.
intense and it will kill you.
I wonder if it'd be different if like because don't moose are they more of just like rounded kind of antler like horns or whatever
Yeah,
their
I
antlers?
believe so. Yeah.
Wonder if it'd be different if they were like had it like big spike type antler
Yeah.
kind of things. I wonder if maybe we would view them differently.
I'm sure we would. I think a lot of it has to do with like how we name it. And yeah, this it's a silly looking animal.
You know what ruined it? Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably yeah. When you make them cute and funny, then like yeah, you can't be afraid of it. But I mean, but we've done that with like all animals though. I mean, we've done that with bears.
That is true. Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, yeah. Winnie the Pooh is like fat and eats honey, and he's like
Yeah,
yeah, he's like a nice bear.
right. But like
Yeah,
a grizzly bear would rip your face right off.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's I don't know. That's a whole nother after show.
Yeah,
I think the
that
whole other
is.
discussion.
We're
But
getting into
uh,
a. We're going down a different path. But
I know
yeah,
I feel like we could have a whole episode just talking about this, but we'll have to save it. We'll have
yes.
to save it, folks.
But I believe that was an after show.
We did it.
Hooray!